In last video we have discussed that why we need a unit testing and what is the Karma and Jasmine and their basic configuration like Karma configuration. So let's recap, and in this video we will discuss about the Jasmine. So why we will write a unit test case. So let's consider one scenario. If there is a big enterprise project and uh, later on the new feature introduced. So for the new feature you are doing code, or maybe there are lots of developer are working there, and every developer don't know the whole part of the project. Maybe they know only some part of the project. Okay, what the responsibility they have, they are just focusing on that part. So maybe the new feature is introduced and developer are working on that feature, but sometimes what happen that they need to make the changes in the previous code. So they will just make the changes in the previous code, and slightly they will check that it's working or not, previous code, and they will see that yes, it's working. But later on they will maybe they don't realize, because that situation doesn't come. So that cause a bug. Okay, over period of time that cause a bug because of that changes. So that bug is not very noticeable, because if a specific scenario will be occurred, then only the bug will be produced. Okay, so this bug may be missed, and the code will get produced in the like production. Why? Because new feature is working absolutely fine. So because developer are whatever development is going on, they are just focusing on the current feature. They are focusing current feature more, and they are just slightly or little bit they are checking the previous code, and if it is working fine, then they don't care actually. So but later on that bug is actually will get produced. They will fix that bug, and after fixing that bug, maybe the another bug can appear because of that. And at that time people are not realizing that uh, maybe after some time there will be a new bug will come, because that specific like scenario need to be occurred, then only that bug will be catchable. The bug which will become in the future, it's not like every time it's catchable. If it is a catchable, then definitely developer can fix that one, but it's not like that scenario will very rare scenario. So here in this scenario we will use the unit testing. So unit testing, again, writing a unit test case is very time consuming. Okay, but the time consumption you are doing in the unit test case is definitely less than the fixing the bug. So code quality will be improved. Okay, project code quality. So developer will be more confident, they will feel more confident that if they will make any changes, so the case will also get failed. So previous design, if you will make the change, previous design or previous code is working absolutely fine, and if test case is failing, then certainly there is a chances that because of our new feature that test case failed. So they will rethink about it. Then they will rethink, and if necessary they will make the changes in the test case as well. So it's provide the more confidence. And we also learned about karma config.js, that there is some basic configuration, and then the test.ts, and all of this configuration basically is there in the angular.json. There is a section which is a test, and the main testing file is a test.ts. This test.ts is useful to initializing the testing environment, and this is responsible to load all the spec.ts file. So karma will run and execute the test case. So all the test case is basically spec.ts file. So whenever you will generate a new component or services, so you will notice that there will be one file which is the spec.ts, and this is basically very important file for writing a test case, and here you have to write a test case. Okay, so let's talk about the Jasmine. So Jasmine is again used to writing a test case. So few things you have to understand for understanding the Jasmine. In the Jasmine there is one method which is a describe. Describe method is basically for a test suite. Under the describe method there can be a many unit test case. It means what? For suppose for app component or maybe a child component or maybe any component, for any component you can write one describe, or maybe for the services you can write a describe. And in the describe the first argument is the message. The message is like for suppose a component or maybe services. So for what section you want to write a unit test case. So let's say for the component you want to write a unit test case, so you can define that one. So this message will be appeared in the testing, like this will be appear in the testing report. Okay, so whenever report will generated and this message will appear, so you will understand that this like the test case is comes under this part. So here I am going to write here the app component, because I am going to write the test case for the app component. This is the message. Another is that another argument is the callback. So just I am writing here the callback, and under that for component, for each of this section you can write a unit test case. So section can be, let's say, method. In the component there is a method which is, let's say, sum, and sum having a b c, and it is returning after adding all of its argument. So you can check all of this method, that method is working properly or not, or maybe anything, any logic if you want to test, any units you want to test. Or suppose there is a title is Angular testing, and later on if you will change the value of the unit testing, like Angular testing to something else, then that will be need to be reflect in HTML part as well, because you are using the string interpolation. So you can check that it is rendering or not, app child is there or not. So you can check, you can make the, you can write a unit test case for that. Okay, so for each of this test case you will use the eat method for each of this test case. Okay, so again there is a describe method can have a multiple test case. So again for the eat method there will be a message for suppose if you want to test a sum, so testing sum method. So basically you have to write a method like message, for what purpose you want to write a unit test case, for which unit you want to write a test case, so you have to define, and then there will be a callback. So just write a callback, and in that callback you have to write a matcher method. If that matcher method is just to, it's provided true and false. So if the unit test is get passed, the test case will get passed, then it will return true, otherwise false. If it is false, then test case will get failed. So there is one method which is expect. Expect is that suppose let's say method, if you want to check the sum, if you will pass the value 111, if you pass the value 111, then the return should be 3. So you want to check that one. So here you can write let's say sum, and then you can pass let's say 1 3 times, and you are expecting some output. So dot, there is a lots of method which is the matcher method, like 2b 2 equal to, so 2 equal hona, 2 equal should be 3. So if it will be 3, then test case will get passed, otherwise it will get failed. So there are lots of method like 2 equal to 2 b content, 2b not 2b. Okay, so there are lots of matcher method. So as per the name, what the name is, method name, you will able to identify. Okay, so don't worry about it. So here if you write a dot, there is an extension. You can see there are lots of method is on the suggestion. Why? Because I have used one extension which is the Jasmine matcher. Jasmine, if you will write here the Jasmine, then you can notice Jasmine code snippet. If you will install this extension in VS Code, then all of this method will be in auto suggestion. Otherwise, you will have to look at uh, documentation. Okay, so till now you understand the describe method. Under the describe there can be a many test case. So it method is meant for each of this unit you will write it method for writing a test. So for now I am just commenting this part because it's showing some error, because I am not testing right now, but yes, I will test it later on, because first you need to understand the Jasmine. Now you can see that there is a for spec and app component. For app component there is a spec that testing some method. So this message, whatever message you provided here, that is appearing in the reporting, in the test report. So you can see app component. Under the app component, this is a describe app component. You have this message you have written in the describe, and each of this it method means for each of this unit you will write the it method. Similarly for the child component, so there is a child component. Let's go to the child and see there is a spec. So this is a child component, and then there is a one spec which is the should create, and all of that you can see in the report, that message. Now apart from that, you have to understand, before running each of this it method, one method will get executed. So there are some method which is the before each. I will explain each of this, so no need to worry about it. Before each, after each, let's say after all, before all, and then after each. So these are the method. As per the name, the work is very similar. Like before running each of this each method, before which each method will get called. Okay, so before running each of this each method, before each method will come run, it means what, you can add certain code, like some of the initialization you can do, because if you want to test a component, then the initialization, the same thing you have to do here as well, because you can notice there is one declaration section and there is a providers. So if you want to use if you want to compile the code, compile the component, if you want to create an instance of the component, so all of this you can do in the before each. So it means what, so before running each of this method, before each method will get called. Okay, so that part you can do. So for now you just understand that before running each of this each method, you can run certain thing, you can do a initialization kinds of thing in before each. And similarly after all, just write it after that. Then before all it means after running each of this each method, after completing each of this each method, no, before all it means before running each of this each method, before all will run. First before all will run, then all of this each method will run. And similarly after each, after running each of this each method, this will get run. Means first each method will first each method will get execute, then after each will get called, then second each method will call run, then after each again will get called, something like that. So based on the name you will, their work is very similar. Okay, so I hope you able to understand. So these are friends, these are the Jasmine. You have to remember again, there is a describe method, and on that describe there is a it method and then matcher method. And before running each of these it method, you can you have a 4 important method provided by the Jasmine, which is the before each, before all, after each, after all. That's it. You just need to understand these things. Now if you look at this spec.ts file, then you will find the same similar method, which is a describe, before each, and then it method. So thank you very much. We will discuss next part in next video.